Very welcome back. Now, our next guest has been campaigning to change legislation to recognise unborn babies as separate victims on road collisions.
After 2 years of research, draft legislation is due to be drawn up by the end of the month. Here to tell us more is Saoirse Aylward. Saoirse, thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning. Tell us about this new legislation. Tell us about Jax's Law.
Yeah, so unfortunately I had my crash 2 years ago. It was a shock to me to find out that there was no law to support the justice for the death of my son Jax. In that moment, I suppose, straight away, I just thought this isn't right. There's clearly a gap here in legislation, so I need to do whatever I can, I suppose, to prevent this happening for families in the future, for another mother to go through the pain that we've went through. So we're looking at unborn victims of road traffic crime and how they can be supported in Irish legislation.
You've been working on this now for 2 years, isn't that right? What's the road been like to get to where we are now?
Yeah, well, as I say, I'm just a mammy, you know. It was a lot of late nights, just up, researching myself, looking at kind of international law, Irish law, where the gap was, what was possible, what is happening in other countries, reaching out to TDs, you know, so it's been a struggle. And of course, I had my own grief. I had my own injuries. Struggled a lot with PTSD. And you're just trying to manage being a mammy and keep your family going as well. But I suppose the support has been amazing, do you know?
Yeah, and the fact that there's no legislation there came as quite a shock to you because, of course, you had the crash, you were injured yourself, and then you lost Jax. And having the lack of justice on top of that.
Yes.
But for viewers who may not be familiar, how many months was Jax when he was
born?
born?
I was 8 months pregnant, so very far along. We just had a couple of weeks left to go. When he was delivered, he was a 4-pound baby, you know, so he was a fine big chap and he would have been a big baby boy, you know, he was beautiful. So to find out that there was no law there, it was such a shock, such a shock, do you know. You
met with some Fine Gael TDs last week, Emer, Currie and Barry Ward, to discuss the legislation. How did the meeting go?
So productive, do you know. Obviously it can be intimidating to go and meet people that you don't know, but it was just so productive. And I think the most positive thing for me is that everybody I meet, you know, is of the same mind as me, that this is just a common sense thing. This should be here. We all know it should be here. These are victims of crime and it needs to be recognised as such. And I suppose the meeting was productive in the sense that, you know, that wasn't a question. It was just, how can we get this to work? How can we achieve this? And Emer is an amazing woman and Barry is a barrister for the last 20 years. He's worked on both sides, so prosecution and defence for criminal cases like this. So he was able to bring a different point of view to it all, and it was kind of really interesting to sit down, but really productive, and they committed to drafting legislation by the end of the month, so that was really positive for us. Yeah.
Is it helping you, I suppose, in one way, channel your grief into something productive by doing this?
Definitely. For me, I would say to be able to put my grief into something positive keeps me going. You know, it's part of Jax's legacy, I think. I've always felt that he was a special boy and his life was short, but I don't think that means his life wasn't meaningful. And I think that possibly this is the meaning for his life, you know, and that other families won't suffer to the same extent that we did. So part of it is Jax's legacy, my grief, and then the other part is making sure that no other mother or family suffers the additional trauma that we did in finding out that there was no justice available for him and for their babies, you know.
You've also tried to make clear that this isn't trying to roll back on women's rights.
No, yeah, exactly. So I saw that there was this kind of public discourse starting to happen. It's not a contentious issue, it's a common sense issue. You know, we're not looking to change any existing laws. It's not going to impact on anyone's rights at all. It's just road safety, third-party offences and road traffic crimes. That's what we're looking at. So the Road Traffic Act of 1961, it already allows for obviously dangerous driving offences, careless driving offences. So it's looking at legislation around that would just obviously include pregnancy loss.
And we have to make the public aware as well, at 8 months and a 4-pound baby, very viable, and had you gone into labour naturally without this crash, Jax would still be here.
I suppose that was what was so difficult when I came out of surgery. So going into surgery, Jax had a heartbeat, so I thought he was going to survive. I was put to sleep and I woke up to the news that he had died from injuries that he had sustained. I was told that a crime had taken place with his death and I had to formally identify his body with the guards. He had to be sent away for a post-mortem and he came back to me, you know, in a different way from that post-mortem, which was very invasive on him. And then to be told at the end of it that there was no justice for him. So he had been put through all of these invasive steps, and I had, because we were told a crime had been committed, but yet there was no legislation at the other end to actually...
So no one's punished for this crime?
No, not for his death. And I suppose what was difficult as well is that the guy that was responsible for the careless driving that night, he took responsibility for what happened. You know, he said, I'm holding my hands up to full facts. I know that I caused this accident, I caused her injuries, I caused the death of her son. But then there was no law to actually charge him with what he had, you know, admitted to and what the evidence was there for.
It must have been such an incredibly difficult time, especially when no justice is being served. I can't imagine what you went through, but you're not the first person this has happened to, and
No.
There's been an outpouring of support.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be nice to know that so many people are behind you on this.
Yeah, absolutely. Park Road Safety Group has been amazing, and Féileacán, you know, they've put me in touch with other families that have lost, other babies. And I suppose that's a big message I want to share, is that I was one of the women that have survived in a circumstance like this, but often pregnant women don't survive in such, you know, horrific road traffic collisions. And I carry their story too, do you know, and I'm sure if they were here that they'd be sharing this message too, that they would want justice for their babies, do you know. So it's a bigger story than just me. I had, at our meeting with Emer and Barry, we had Colleen Langan. So she was sharing the story of her auntie Roisin and her baby Catherine that had both passed in a road traffic collision previously. So, do you know, this is happening. This is happening all over Ireland. But yet there's no recognition for these babies, do you know.
And the grief of losing a baby. Before we came on air, I was telling you my sister died as a baby. She was only 10 days old. And my mother, before she passed, even though she was in her 80s, and it was years and years later, the memory and the anniversaries, they're still raw and they're still there. And yes, you didn't get to see your baby grow up, but every life is precious, and the memories you have are precious. It's important to remember and feel that their life mattered. So by doing this, you're actually striking a blow for a lot of women in your situation. What has been the reaction from other mothers in your situation that you have actually ploughed forward with this?
Yeah, I suppose they're just so grateful that, you know, I'm using my voice in this way. For me, I think you speak up when something is wrong. You use your voice and you speak up, and even if it's tough and even if your voice shakes, you use your voice and you use it for what matters. For me to have other mothers come to me that unfortunately are bereaved as well and have had lost children, there is such strength in that and such companionship and understanding, and that really does help you get through those moments, because oftentimes it is just moment by moment, you know,
very
day by day.
lonely, I'd say, until
Really
you talk
lonely.
to somebody who's been through the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can't relate, and I struggle a lot with that from my life before the crash and my life after. I feel like a very different person, and I feel very lonely and isolated. But when I have those moments of connection with other mothers and other families, like, for example, Colleen, who can speak of her auntie Roisin, and Catherine, I feel like I carry their story with me, and I feel that connection, and that helps me too.
The support for each other.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is very, very badly needed. So the legislation is due at the end of the month.
Yes.
Fingers crossed, all going well. And listen, we'll all be waiting with bated breath for that to go through.
You should be incredibly proud of yourself. It's absolutely amazing what you've done the last couple of years.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
So lovely chatting to you.